Did you know the best camera is often the one in your pocket? So even you can shoot photos at the palm of your hand. Let me show you how. Hello, it's your favorite nephew with a camera, Gabe. I'm a professional photographer from the US, but I'm currently here in the Philippines to travel around and visit family. What my family has noticed on my travels is that I'm usually taking out my iPhone to capture photos instead of my camera, and they're always asking me advice on how to take better photos. Well, it so happens that the iPhone is the perfect vehicle for you to take great photos, and let me show you how. Here's 5 iPhone photography tips that you can use every day. Let's go. Today we'll be shooting on the iPhone 13 Pro. And by no means you need an iPhone 13 Pro to take great photos. But what you do need is our first tip, and that's to set up grids on your iPhone. Let's do it. You just turn on your iPhone, go to your settings, and if you can't find your settings app like me right now, you can always swipe down. In the search bar, type in settings, and there you go. We're gonna go all the way down where it says camera. Right here, it says grid. We're gonna go ahead and enable that. Right now, it's already enabled on my camera, but we're gonna go ahead and enable it. And then view from outside the camera. If you have this toggled, I would just turn it off. So once we've enabled grids on our settings, you'll see that this little hashtag here has been added to our phone. This will help us compose our images when we're gonna shoot our photos outside. And don't worry, this grid doesn't actually show up on your photos once you take them. This is just for us to guide our eyes when we start shooting outside. Sounds good? We're gonna take some photos. Welcome to my aunt's garden. Now that we've enabled grid on our phone, we're gonna go through our next tip, which is rule of thirds. Have you heard about it? This is a simple term that photographers and cinematographers use to guide people's eyes in the composition of their photos and their shots. I think it's really interesting, and I think that we can easily do this on our iPhone. Let's try it out. Sorry, you can come too, let's go. Okay, I think this is the perfect place for a shot. We're gonna open our camera app here. We're gonna go into landscape like this, meaning turning your phone to the side. And we're just gonna look across the corner here. Ah, nice. And you can see that this rule of third on the left here is aligned with the pillar. And you can also see that this is also aligned on the right side. So there's a balance here with the rule of thirds. So what I'm gonna do is just snap a photo of this real quick. Nice. And the rule to good photography is always experimenting more and taking more photos. So let's try ahead and do that. What we're gonna do this time though is gonna go to the 0.5, which is the ultra wide lens, and this will reveal a lot more of the scene. Wow, awesome. Now you can see a lot more of my aunt's garden and the yard. So we're gonna go ahead and take that photo. I think for this next one, we're just gonna go outside the house to do this next tip. Hopefully it's not that loud here on the street in the Philippines, but what can you do? Our next tip is called frame within a frame. This is another cinematography and photography term that refers to the frame that you can put around your subject to give them a little bit more focus. Take this gate back here, for example. You have this gate grill above and this gate grill below, and also some of the gate grill on the sides here. This perfectly frames me within a frame so that you can focus exactly on what you want to see. And you can also do this with iPhone photography. So let's try that out here. Ah, this is perfect. We also have a little guest here. Hello. Hello, little baby. Do you mind if we shoot here? This is a great position to take a photo. And frame within a frame doesn't literally mean like an actual square frame. Nature has its natural frames that you can shoot through as well. So for this one, I think I've identified the perfect subject. Are you still there, little guy? He is! Oh my God. Okay, so what you can do, we're gonna do telephoto zoom here. And just like with the 0.5, let's drag our zoom all the way to the right. Oh my God, so cute. Okay. And then let's see if we can get his attention. How do you usually get attention of a cat? Let's see. Psst, psst, psst. Hey, buddy. Hey. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. Oh, another one. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. And make sure to just tap that screen to just focus on your subject there. You see how this cat is perfectly framed in the photo just by the leaves, and that is frame within a frame. I know for seniors, it's a little bit strenuous to take some photography if it's strenuous on your back, on your knees, and it's totally okay to get a stool. I've ran inside and I got myself a chair so we can take this photo. So we're gonna take a seat here, zoom in. Oh, nice. And it's positioned our flowers perfectly in the center of what we want. So I'm just going to tap the screen a couple times to see if I can get it in focus and take a photo. Oh, so beautiful. And if your wrist is cramping like this, the way I'm holding it, you can always turn your phone upside down and take a picture that way. So you're going to see if we can hold the camera perfectly, just like that. Tap in the center, see if we can get a photo like this. And there we go. Another good example for frame within a frame is to literally shoot within a frame. So we're gonna use this little window of the gate here to just take a photo 3 times, zoom, and just scroll this way. Or you can just press the 3 times zoom button. And then we're gonna just tap the middle here. Oh, perfect. I think my aunt is gonna really love these photos. Before we move on to our next tip, I just want to remind you that you can always rewind the video to go back to things that you might have missed or want to review. If there's any questions that you have, you can always leave a question down in the comment section and I'll do my best to reply to you. All right, let's go on to the next tip. We're back in my aunt's garden and we're gonna go over tip number 4, which is portrait mode. For this one, I'm gonna ask the assistance of my mother. So for portrait mode, you can go into your camera right here and it says photo. Just swipe to the left here and you'll go into portrait mode. And I'm gonna position where my subject is. So Mom, I'm gonna have you just stand a little bit to the side there where it's nice and green, showing the nature. For portrait mode, you can see already that it creates a nice artificial background that's blurred for a subject. Normally you can only accomplish this on cameras, but on the iPhone, you can do this right away. For this one, let's go ahead and take a photo. We'll smile, Mom. Right, 1, 2, 3, good. And as you can see, we're applying the rule of thirds here and making so the top third is right above my mom's eyebrows for good composition. And you can still see a good amount of the nature behind her. But for portrait mode to really work, we'll add a little bit more depth. So I'm gonna have my mom to stand a little bit closer to me, but further away from the background. That's what makes portrait mode really work, is if you have your subject further away from the background. We're also gonna apply our previous rule, frame within a frame. As you can see here, there's a frame of plants right around my mother, and she's positioned perfectly for the composition here. Again, we're gonna just line up the top third there, right above her eyebrows, and then we're gonna smile. Very good, 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. You can also use portrait mode on things that are not just people. You could also use it on the plants in the area and different objects, and we'll demonstrate that next. Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
We're gonna look at these plants here, and these are really unique. You see that there's like these natural kind of windows that's created in the plant. And it's not because of bugs or pesticides, it's because this is the way this plant naturally grows. You can see that portrait mode is already making this type of blur effect on the photo, especially if I move further away, which is telling me to do, and I'll just take a photo here. Man, and that looks really good. For our last tip, we're gonna work on selfies. But the tip is not actually selfies, it's actually how you take better selfies. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use the volume buttons on the camera to actually release the shutter to take your photo. Usually, we're used to just pressing the photo to take our selfie, but you can actually press any of the volume buttons on top or on bottom of the camera, depending on how you're holding it, to take a photo. But in order to take selfies, we probably need another person to come with us. So I'm gonna invite my dad. Come on, Dad. So we have our group now. What's gonna happen is I'm just gonna position them so we can take a proper selfie. So I'm gonna have my dad on the right side here, my mom in the middle. So we're actually gonna be facing this way. We wanna show off a little bit more of the house and the plants. So I'm gonna just stand here, and I'm left-handed. So I'm gonna be holding the camera with my left here, and then facing this way. So it's gonna be my dad, my mom, and myself. And it's also even this way because my mom's shorter and my dad and I are a little bit taller. So we're gonna have our camera here, and you're gonna hit this swirly icon, and this swirly icon will actually transform it into selfie, just like this. So just like what we've been practicing with the rule of thirds, you could already see that I'm on the left here, my dad's on the right, and my mom's in the center as well. and we're looking at eye level directly to the camera. What's really important to know when you're taking a selfie is most people are tempted to kind of just admire their son, their mom, their dad in these photos, but you're not actually looking at the camera itself. The camera is actually hidden on the right side here. So this is where we're actually going to be looking when we're taking a selfie, not at the screen where our faces are. So I'm just going to reposition my fingers so they're right above the volume button here. Reach out, position ourselves with the rule of thirds here, and then remember, we're going to look at this camera here. Ready? And smile. 1, 2, and 3. Very good. For a more flattering selfie, you can also raise the camera up just a little bit and then take the picture that way. We're gonna smile. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Very good.
Woo! It's difficult to be a model.
And those were my 5 iPhone photography tips. Now you can create beautiful photos that you can share with your family and friends as well. Is there anything else that you would like to learn that I haven't covered today? Please consider liking and subscribing for future content like this in the future. And as always, you could always review and rewind this video for anything that you've missed. And if you have a question, you can leave them down in the comments and I can answer you properly. Thanks so much for stopping by to visit your favorite nephew with a camera. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.